Good evening, good afternoon, good morning. I don't know when you're listening, but it's evening here at Salem Communications in Cleveland, where we're recording the first Pan Ohio podcast.
Woohoo! Yay!
My name is Greg Mack. Along with me,
I'm Sean McClain.
How you doing? Brian Travalik here.
Brian Travalik. Special thanks to Brian, who came aboard last minute. He's not only going to help us along with this podcast, but he's got the GoPro set
video
up.
stuff happens
Videos.
because of that.
So we're up on YouTube.
Got the cool toys, you know.
That's what I really do. So if you need professional video, let me know.
All right. So if you're listening to this on SoundCloud and the sound of our voices just isn't doing it for you, and you want to see our mugs on TV, well, YouTube is where you'll find it.
Of course, proceed at your own caution, though.
So what we're here to talk about is the Pan Ohio Hope Ride.
Yes, indeed.
This is my fourth. I have to think about that. My fourth Pan Ohio. Brian's shaking his head.
I'm
yes.
shaking his head because it's my third, and you made me do it after you did your first one.
It's because, and I made you do it because my experience was so incredible. It was the best ride I've ever been on. Now, Sean, how many years with you?
Well, this will be my 7th ride, but 8th year of involvement. Did my first ride back in 2011. I took a break in 2012 because I wanted to do the Cleveland Triathlon that year. Mm-hmm. And I've been back ever since. It's been a phenomenal experience, and I'm glad to be a part of this in this role, too. I'm now the co-chair for the ride for the Cleveland, Akron, and Worcester markets this year, and very honored to be a part of this, and I'm here to help out as much as I possibly can and make this ride as awesome as it always is.
So, Sean, how did you get into the ride?
Well, initially it was more of a weight loss thing because at one time I used to be very heavy, weighed about 300 pounds or so. But unfortunately, my father passed away, and that kind of pushed me to get myself into better shape. So along the way, I was dieting and then doing running, working out as well along the way. And then my buddy Mike Hammondtree, who was also a rider on the ride as well too, he told me about this event he got involved with called the Pan Ohio Hope Ride, and told me about the fact it's a 4-day, 328-mile ride. I'm like, whoa. So initially, and a lot of people have the same story, when you hear that type of mileage involved and what's involved with it, it is very daunting. But to know for the fact it is very doable as long as you put in the proper training and put in the effort to do that. And we encourage people, when they do this ride, make sure you're putting in the proper amount of miles and training before you do this, because it's not easy. But the way we look at it with this event, neither is going through cancer, and that's why we're doing this event every year.
You know, it's funny. You just said, I didn't know this. You were 300 pounds?
Yeah, I actually have I always keep a picture with me just to remind myself of where to not to go back to again, basically.
So for those of you listening to the podcast, he's a very svelte man.
I wouldn't say swole, trust me. I still got a few pounds to lose.
Okay, well.
Don't we all?
But, hey, Brian, there's hope for you and
There's
me.
hope, yeah, there totally is.
Yeah. But to also go back to as well, too, another part of it to the story was my grandparents both died of cancer as well, too, and this became my way of honoring both of them during the ride. But unfortunately, along the way, several people that I've known either through college or personally either died of cancer or had cancer or became affected by cancer along the way. So I feel like this, in a way, became my calling to do this every year. So.
Okay, nice. You know, I wanted to honor my grandfather, and for several years before I actually rode my first Pan Ohio ride, I kept saying, you know, one day I'm going to ride this ride. One day I'm going to ride this ride. But I'm nowhere near in the shape that I need to be. And my girlfriend, Gina, who's been with the American Cancer Society for quite some time, said, why don't you do this event? It's right up your alley. You could do this. And finally, I'm like, okay, I caved. And I started training, and I was shocked when I set out and rode my first Pan Ohio that it wasn't that hard. Was it challenging? Absolutely.
Yeah, of course, yes.
But I figured, I'd make it a day or two, and that's it. And I made it all 4 days, never got off the bike and walked the bike. I rode the entire ride. Well, I got off the bike at the rest stops, obviously.
I hope so, because
You gotta
there's
pee
there's some great rest stops along this route.
Exactly, yeah. Or else that bike's going to be very ripe at that point,
And so, yeah, I've done it year after year. And after my first year, I said, Brian, you got to do this ride. They treat you like kings and queens. They feed you. The dinners are amazing.
You had me at feed me.
Yeah. The breakfast is amazing. The rest stops are amazing. The ride is just, it's fun. It's laughter. It's tears. It's camaraderie. You feel like Superman months after Pan Ohio is done. When you go out and do your regular ride, you tackle the hills in your neighborhood that you always tackle. They're like nothing.
Exactly. Of course, once you do that event, it motivates you to do more at that point. And a lot of people who do this just keep coming back for more and more.
So every year I end up having to take some vacation time. And I know a lot of people do not ride Pan Ohio because they don't have the time to do it. Or they're a little nervous about the 4-day option. Are there some other options for riders that don't want to commit to 328 miles, 4 days?
There are. We have a 1-day option, a 2-day option, and also a virtual option. The 1 day, obviously, you just pick one of the days you want to ride and ride that 1 day. If you need a bus down to that location, they will help you with that as well too. 2 days, you can either start in Cincinnati and go to Columbus, or start in Columbus and go to Cleveland. So your option is there. And the virtual option, you don't actually ride itself, but what you're doing is actually fundraising during the event, and you get all the incentives as the other riders do. And really, that's what it comes down to as far as the mission of the Pan Ohio Hope Ride, is the fundraising aspect and where it benefits, which is the American Cancer Society and their Hope Lodges. So that's why we do this.
Dude, I just found out that I'm going to get my 328 umbrella. I qualified for that incentive. This is one of the many different incentives that Pan Ohio does. 328 Day was one that we just wrapped up with. It's a photo contest where you take a picture of something with the number 328.
Yep.
It's an important number to us.
Yep. If you looking at this right now through our cameras here, this is our logo we've had for many years now. Our buddies Mike Hamitry and Kevin Grigsby designed this logo, and it's been kind of our universal logo for the ride. So I'm honored too.
Now, the winner of the 328 contest, what do they get as a prize?
They win $320 to their fundraising efforts.
Okay. So, yeah, let's just give you an idea. There's all kinds of different incentive contests and things that we do throughout the campaign to help you get to your fundraising goals and minimums.
Exactly. And that's why we do it as well, too. They kind of push the envelope a little bit for people to go out there and fundraise as much as they possibly can, because where it's going toward, it's a worthy cause, and that's why we do it.
Also, we have monthly get-togethers at various restaurants in the Cleveland area to share ideas, to share the message of the Pan Ohio Hope Ride and what you are riding for. And those are always fun events, and we get different fundraising ideas from different people. Brian does something every year with Honey Hut.
The only time I see certain people and friends and or family is at Honey Hut, and the great thing is we do it for about an hour, and Honey Hut donates partial proceeds to the ride, and they've been great to work with every single year, and hopefully we're going to have year 3 of the in June Honey Hut fundraiser.
Who doesn't love ice cream?
That's awesome.
Yeah. So, Jonathan, there you go. A little plug for Honey Hut right there.
Yeah. By the way, if you're a rider, don't go anywhere, because later on in the podcast we're going to talk about some upcoming rides and events for Pan Ohio riders. So please hang with us. And as we're sharing ideas with those who are listening that are on the fence about riding Pan Ohio, please contact us via Facebook with your ideas. We're going to be doing more podcasts, right?
Oh, most definitely, yes.
So we'd love to share your fundraising ideas in future podcasts. I think it'd be fun.
Oh, most definitely. And of course, you can always go to our website, too, which is www.pohr.org. All the information about the ride is there. Contact information is there as well, too. So that's a great resource to go out to as well.
So I'm going to be doing a Dine to Donate. Is it Dine to Donate or Donate to Dine?
All the above.
All
Whatever
of
you
the
want to
above.
call it. You can call it whatever you want to.
Who likes ribs in here? Barbecue.
I can go for some ribs, you know.
All right. Dickies in Parma.
Yep.
The owner of Dickies in Parma, he's a cyclist.
Well, hey.
Yeah, so he's all about this. So we just have to get the date nailed down, and as soon as we do, I'll put it up on my personal page. I'll set it off to Pan Ohio. I'm sure they'll put it up on their Facebook page. And, skip the dishes and come to Dickies in Parma when we do this.
Oh, there you go. And actually, the two kind of endorse mine as well, too, on May 30th. And this actually is statewide throughout Ohio, doing a Dine for Date or whatever it's called. It's with Melt. It's all 10 Melt locations, including Northeast Ohio, Columbus, and Dayton. So May 30th, all you need to do is either bring the flyer with you or show it on your phone, and 20% of the proceeds go to the Pan Ohio Hope Riot. So
Where do we find the flyer?
It's actually not there quite yet. I'm actually still
Okay.
releasing it as we speak here, but
You're going to have it up on your page and the Pan
Yes.
Ohio page when
Yeah.
you get it.
Definitely,
Okay.
yes.
Excellent.
Stay
So
tuned for
May
more.
30th.
May 30th, yes.
All day, did you say?
All day, yes.
Fantastic. I just had a backyard barbecue for dinner from Melt, literally.
It's some good
Now
food.
I-
Not exactly healthy, but it's so good, though.
That's why we ride.
Yay,
That's why we
he's got
ride
it.
as much as we do, because
Exactly.
we can burn that stuff off.
Oh,
Eat,
yeah.
drink, and be happy by riding.
Oh, yeah.
So please share your ideas if you're doing a Dine to Donate or anything special. Paula Hendricks from Mind Brain Social Club is doing these F-bombs.
She is awesome.
She is. She's an amazing woman. And these are, she crochets these little black bombs with the letter F on them. And they're taking off. Stalk her on Facebook, Mind Brain Social Club. Shoot them a message and say, hey, where can I get an F-bomb?
Well, there's always different kinds of F-bombs along the ride, too. But that's a whole different story, okay?
I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. So before we get into the events for the riders coming up, we talked a lot about the Pan Ohio Hope Ride. What are we riding for?
Well, what we're riding for is, of course, it benefits the American Cancer Society. The Hope Lodges is what it benefits in particular here. The Hope Lodge, we have one in Cleveland and one in Cincinnati, but there's actually 32 across the country as we speak right now, with actually 26 open with 6 being built as we speak. And the Hope Lodge, what it is, it's a place for patients and their caregivers to stay free of charge while receiving cancer treatment. And of course, if they're out of town and they have no place to stay, instead of having to front the bill for a hotel room, the Hope Lodge provides that place of warmth and comfort and food and love while they're here or really anywhere across the country receiving that treatment. So this is what it benefits in particular.
Okay. All right. And there's a lot of other services that the American Cancer Society provide locally. I love that they provide rides to and from treatment. And obviously, all the money that they raise for cancer research. We've got some amazing facilities here in Cleveland Clinic, UH hospitals, who benefit from the American Cancer Society and the work that they do.
Exactly. And if you go to www.cancer.org, it explains them in more detail as far as what the ACS provides and what they benefits.
All right. So I'm looking here for our riders. And if you're considering riding, keep listening, because this is the excitement you can get in on as well when you sign up. By the way, before we go any further, where would a rider go to sign up?
www.pohr.org.
All right.
Website.
He
Or-
keeps these websites and links in his head.
I kind of have to in a way. I work as an IT professional during the daytime, so I kind of have this stuff in my head at all times.
Cool. So you can go there. You can sign up. You can sign up as an individual. You can sign up with a team. You can start your own team if you got a couple of buddies you want to ride with.
Almost definitely. I mean, as long as you get involved either virtually or as a rider, or even as a volunteer too. That's the other aspect of the ride too, is the volunteers. Because with every one rider, we need 3 volunteers to pull this event off. So if riding is not your thing, if you want to help out at the water stops or do SAG support, which is what my wife does for the ride. I mean, go online. There's also a link to sign up to volunteer for the event too, because without the volunteers, we cannot pull this stuff off. And we're essentially guys in tight shorts out there for nothing, basically.
I want to get into some of the events here that we've got coming up. I've got the list here, and maybe you can go into detail. There is a bike season kickoff party at one of my favorite bike shops, Performance Bike in Mayfield.
Yes, indeed. On Tuesday, April 24th, from 5:30 to 7:30, they're going to have a get-together at the Performance Cycles, located at, if I can read my vision's not as good as it once was.
It's the Golden Gate Plaza in Mayfield.
Yeah, 1509 Golden Gate Plaza in Mayfield Heights. They're going to have a 30-minute training clinic, free basic tune-ups, merchandise, coupons, food, drinks, and much more. And
wait, rewind. What was free? Brian and I were.
We said food, drink, or
food and drinks.
Free basic tune-ups.
Basic tune-ups.
Exactly, yep.
Sweet.
Yeah, so that means you get your air in your tires, maybe trued, and don't ever true your tires.
A wise man once told me, never true your own tires.
Exactly. But yeah, for those in the Cleveland area, I mean, please come out that day on April 24th and come out. And if you want to learn more about the ride from us directly, I mean, come out and we'll talk to you more about it and get your bike tune-up while you're there too.
All right, and the Hope Lodge Barbecue happening June 13th.
Yes, indeed.
Just getting together and enjoying some barbecue at the Hope Lodge in Cleveland.
Exactly, yes.
And maybe possibly meet some of the patients,
Yep.
the people that we are riding for.
Exactly, yeah, because we're still working out the details of that particular event. But
Okay.
we wanted to go back to the Hope Lodge because when we used to do the ride, it used to be from Cleveland to Cincinnati. Mm-hmm. So every year we would do our kickoff event at the Hope Lodge. And, of course, with our reversing the route, because this year, last year, and the year before, we've started down south, Cincinnati to Cleveland. So we lost the Hope Lodge aspect. We've always wanted to go back to it in a certain way. This gives us a chance to kind of go back to our roots and come out to the Hope Lodge and then meet a lot of the patients that are going through this unfortunate disease they're going through right now, and let them know we're there for them. That's why we're doing this for them.
Okay. And then this year, Pan Ohio has started training rides, which I'm very excited about.
Yeah, and the thing for that too is and we're stressing to people too is, I mean, please train for this event. This is not an event that you can do willy-nilly, basically. You got to put the miles into.
Don't you point at me. I've made it through two times.
Well, hey, good for you. That's awesome. But of course, the thing about the ride itself too is just being able to get out there and do it. And when we stress certain training aspects and certain ways to do this ride, so starting in May and June, we'll be having trainer rides. One of our riders, Doug Dragic, will be leading one from the Foundry down in downtown Cleveland, going toward the towpath down up to Rockside and then back to the Foundry. So that'll be in May.
Oh, is that the one at Merwin's Wharf?
Yeah, Merwin's Wharf, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
So that'll be in May, then June for all the. Actually, I think I might be going back. So I think April is the one for Doug. The one in May, that's one for Kevin Grigsby.
That's the bike and hike.
Yep. So basically, if anybody's familiar with the valley in Peninsula, Bath, Cuyahoga Falls, we're essentially going on Akron Peninsula Road in that one loop that goes toward Merriman, back toward Riverside, and then back toward 303 back to Akron Peninsula, which covers about 18 miles if you do that loop. There's a lot of some elevation involved here, but it's actually a good training route to do. So
that's Greg and I's home turf.
Yeah, we love climbing in and out of the valley over there.
Oh, and I live in Cuyahoga Falls, so trust me, I go in and out of the valley myself too. It's really a good way to train.
I think so. I think riders are going to be excited for the route changes this year.
Oh, yes.
Definitely. Also in June, partnership with Sunday in June. Tell us about this.
Well, Sunday in June, if anybody's familiar with this ride, it's actually out near Burton. It starts in Burton, but it goes throughout
I've done it many times.
Yeah, Geauga County. You're going down toward Parkman, and then back up to Burton again, up towards Chardon, and then back into Burton. The Cleveland Cycling Club has done this event for I believe 15 some odd years. Might be more or less than that though. But it gives people a good training experience for Pan Ohio. And pretty soon we'll be offering a discount code to do Sunday in June. So stay tuned for that as we go.
Sweet.
Can you guarantee no rain? Every time I've done Sunday in June, it has rained.
The one year
that
it was
the one that I wasn't
and
there.
Sunny.
No.
Every
year that I've done it, it has rained.
There was one year I did it when it was like a torrential downpour. I did like the 27-mile loop, and then I stopped at that point.
We had to hide under we hid in a barn for a little while on that ride.
What about the year I busted a spoke?
That was the year after, and then it rained during that day too.
Did it?
Yep.
Okay.
Every time I've ever rode that ride, it rains.
Yeah. It's a great ride. Great route.
Awesome
It's a great ride.
Lots of hills.
Lots of
gentle hills, steep hills.
Then there's that
a little
one
bit of
just
everything.
before lunch.
Exactly. Yeah, going back up to Burton. Yeah, there's that. Of course, there's actually two different ways to go up. I found it easier to go to the left and stay on the main route instead of going up that one steep hill.
Oh, that's the fun one. I actually conquered it the last time I did it.
I haven't tried it yet, though. I always go up the other way.
The first time, bonked after maybe 200 feet. Second time, made it up the whole time. And that just made my entire cycling year.
There you go.
Yeah, I'd love to find out what percentage grade that hill is. It's a pretty tough hill.
We were making fun of the guys who were actually going it up, actually doing it, calling them overachievers.
So that's all I have. How about you? Anything else you want to add?
Well, like we said before, I mean, our big thing right now is recruitment for the ride itself. And like I said, if you want to do it all 4 days, 2 days, 1 day, virtual, we want you involved one way or another, basically. So please reach out to us, either myself
Absolutely.
or Greg or Brian, or go to our website too as well. Ask for more information, how to get involved, and just come on board, basically.
You can shoot me an email, djgregmack@yahoo.com, or you can find me on Facebook, Greg Mack.
You can find me on Facebook too. It's Sean McClain. My email address is smcclain2375@gmail.com.
All right.
Travvideo.com. There's a link on my website that will take you right to the Pan Ohio page.
So we'd be happy to answer any questions and give you more information on the ride. We love this ride. We do it because we love it. We do it for those that have battled cancer, those that have survived cancer, those that we've lost to cancer.
It's impactful. Once you cross that finish line, once you see at the end everybody there, it changes the whole mindset of what you just did for the last 2 to 4 days. It's something
you see
really,
Brian in
really
the cameras
special.
here. He's a big guy. To see him cry like a little baby at the finish line.
Really?
It's impactful.
Happened only once.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, it's an emotional event too, because I mean, really the toughest of guys will, once you get to that point, I'm like, my God, I just did this, and I feel so freaking awesome doing this. And another thing too is like we said before, just who it's benefiting. That's the big reason why we do this here. So, and of course the other thing too is donations as well too. So if you're unable to ride, I mean, please donate to the cause as well too. It goes to a great cause. It actually benefits the ACS right away. It actually goes to those patients immediately at that point. No waiting around for certain funds to accumulate or what have you. They help immediately at that point. And plus, you still get a tax-deductible donation. It's tax-deductible as well, too.
Mm-hmm. Remember, if you are not a cyclist, you haven't been on the bike since you were 5 years old, that's all right. You can be a virtual rider, raise money for Pan Ohio, the Hope Lodges, from your couch using social media or whatever you want to do.
Come cheer us on.
Yes.
I always like the people that cheer us on. Cowbells and everything. My favorite stops are the ones that they sort of treat us like the Tour de France when we come in or when we leave.
Mm-hmm.
The pom-poms are out. It's just so cool to be a part of that.
Oh, yeah. And just to give you a heads up, too, as well, if you want to come out and actually cheer us on, we're going to be finishing this year at the same location at the Sherwin-Williams facility in downtown Cleveland. So come on down on Sunday, July 29th. Okay. I want to get done right away. Let's go out there. Come on, 320 miles. Let's do it right now.
All right. Well, I think that about wraps it up. Again, if you have any ideas for future podcasts, you want to share your story, contact any one of us, and we'll talk about it next time.
Awesome. This has been an awesome experience. I'm looking forward to doing this again next month with you guys.
All right. Well, I didn't think of a witty outro line, so we'll see you next time.